Smileys Plastering, providing award-winning plastering and rendering services for over 25 years. I will handle everything from a small repair to a whole commercial building inside and out. Get a free quote day or night and every job gets a Smileys touch. Give us a call on 0417 730 926 or visit the website smileysplastering.com.au.
Dylan, what got you started in hockey?
Well, probably my family. My dad had a massive impact on it. He sort of played hockey through his life, and same as probably every other family, they sort of want to follow their father's footsteps and their mother's footsteps. So it's pretty much family orientated. And
how many years playing?
Roughly around 18 years. 18 years of solid playing some hockey.
And started where?
Down in Wollongbar, Tweed Heads. So I played for a club called Wollongbar Redbacks.
And now you're a Kookaburra. What is a Kookaburra?
Kookaburra. Well, if you think about Kookaburra, for me, it's sort of like the most successful sporting team in Australia, and probably definitely one of the best hockey teams in the world.
And what does it mean to be a Kookaburra?
Dream come true, really. Sort of a childhood dream, and always wanted to be a Kookaburra, and sort of to this day even it's pretty unrealistic. Well, it feels unrealistic. Sometimes you got to remember that you're there now, and it's like I said, it's an amazing feeling.
Dylan, what's your biggest inspiration?
Funny ass sort of thing, because back in high school days when you had to go home and laminate your books ready to for your year of schooling, I was a bit of a hockey tragic back then. I used to get the Just Hockey magazines and get all the hockey photos out and laminate over it. So all my books were covered in hockey stuff, and around that sort of stuff, I just always wanted to play hockey and play hockey for Australia. So I guess I've always wanted to play for Australia and play for the Kookaburras. So that sort of just got me going. Always open my books. There was always someone Australia representative on my books. This is what made me drive to play for Australia.
So give it a plug. Who was your school?
Wollongbar High School.
So Dylan, what are one or two of the things that you currently do in your training that are keys to your successes?
For me, it would be goal shooting, obviously a striker. I do a lot of individual trainings on goal shooting. So obviously I'm a striker, so I always want to be scoring goals, and also just receiving. So my biggest focus, and it's been through the couple of years, is just on my receiving and trapping. It's the most important, probably, I reckon, in hockey today. If you can't trap, you can't really play. That's what I think. So I really focus on trapping the ball, and also goal shooting.
So individual sessions opposed to team sessions, what's a normal week of a Kookaburra involved?
It's pretty heavy. We're definitely coming up to the Olympics this year. I haven't been in the Olympic program before, but I've looked at the calendar already, and it's going to be a pretty heavy load. But last year we did about three individuals sessions a week, and another 3 heavy sessions on top of that, and as well as strength and conditioning sessions. So it's like I said, pretty much 6 days a week we're on the pitch.
So who's the famous sports person you'd like to meet, and why?
Roger Federer, really successful and really humble.
And are you band or solo singer, and who?
Go Chet Faker.
Live music or iTunes?
Live music.
TV or video game?
Go video game, Jeremy Haywood. I'll always beat you at FIFA.
NFL or AFL?
AFL.
And tell the Hockey Zone something about yourself you normally wouldn't share.
Superstitious before the games, left side on all the time. Warm up, mouth guard in my left pants, in the pocket.
So Dylan, what's your biggest challenge at the moment?
For me, it would be, as a striker coming into Olympic preparation, I would say I've got to set a challenge to myself, is sort of scoring the most goals, always scoring goals, because as a striker you obviously feel the pressure if you're not scoring goals. So I've set a challenge that I want to be scoring a lot of goals this year.
And you talked about your individual sessions. What sort of time frame do they set for individual work?
It sort of can be between 2 to 3 hours, so however longer you want, you get it. And then also after the normal team trainings, of course you're allowed to stay there for an extra half hour to an hour, but usually we're pretty knackered after a team training.
So you talk about being a striker, and there's a number of strikers in the team. How is that dynamic between all your guys when you're on the training pitch?
Well, it comes down, we're all pretty close. Obviously we've played many tournaments together, but I wouldn't say that we fight against each other. It's more team orientated because as well, it's not just about scoring goals, but if you're setting up goals, it's just as good. So if they're in a better position, you're more than happy passing it to them. But I reckon if, say, when teams are announced and come to training, I think it's not really like a fiery against each other. It's more like, oh, I feel sorry for the opposite guy. So it's not like we're battling for each other. We obviously, it's not anyone's fault but ourselves in a way, and it's the coaches that make the decisions. So we're not mad at other strikers, but you know, we're all as a team and we don't think about ourselves.
And only being new into the Kookaburra program, that was obviously a culture that was there that's been part of it and still is obviously today.
Yeah, exactly. The Kookaburra culture is pretty easy to pick up on. Well, like you said, it's a really strong culture, and I've picked up on it within 1 year. Exactly as soon as I started, I pretty much felt like I knew it straight away. Like it's just the way it all works, and there's no I in the team over there. We do what's best for us.
So what are you finding the hardest things to balance now in your life?
I would say for me, because right now, like I said previously, that I was really hockey tragic in a way as a kid, but now since I'm getting older and older, I'm all around hockey. I like to have the right balance in going to hockey and as well as outside life. So at the moment I'm studying, doing a construction management course, and you know, that's really helped me within the last 6 months that I started that course. It's just having the right balance and keeping my mind away from hockey, but then when I go to hockey, my mind's fresh and ready to just focus on my training session. Because previously, before, I'd go home, if I was just training, I'd go home and I would just be thinking of all the mistakes I've done within that training session. So there's something else on my mind. I felt like it took my mind away from hockey and my mistakes, and I focused on that for the time being. Then when training came back around again, my 100% focus was in the hockey and my mind was mentally fresh and ready to go again.
So you got the boardies on, you've caught a wave down the coast?
Yeah, I've been down the coast this week. It's been really good. Like, it's really hot up here, but yeah, enjoying my time on the East Coast. I love coming back in. I miss it lots.
And so what do you miss the most from making that step up?
Definitely just like being able to, on the weekends, we can just go down to Tweed Heads and see my mum and dad, or just friends and family around Brisbane as well. That's the biggest, and I miss that so much, and you don't really realise that until you're pretty much over in Perth, that, you know, that it's really good to have.
You've been over in the India League, tell us about that.
I was lucky enough to be picked up by Dabang Mumbai. The experience that I got to play with a world-class player, Florian Fuchs, same sort of position, and yeah, if any of you guys seen him play it over there, it was really good, and I've learned quite a lot from his ball handling to his goal scoring. So through that sort of stuff is really good, and also just being able to getting the chance to travel all around India, playing against good oppositions, and also playing against the Aussie guys as well is always a good little challenge, because we like to beat each other up. And
that rivalry on the field was intense.
Yeah,
as well,
definitely. We obviously off the field we're friends, but on the field we're not friends. So that's probably saying no one likes losing. So as soon as we cross that field and they're in our way, we'll do anything we can to knock them over, or we'll win any challenge we get one-on-one against our opponent.
Outside of hockey, highlight of the 6 weeks in India?
Probably just laying by the pool in Mumbai.
Not the food?
Not the food.
And Florian, away from hockey?
Yeah. Well, yeah, really good bloke, sort of down to earth, just like anyone else really. Like, if he was back in Australia, just be like one of my mates really. Got along quite easily. He was, you know, he was just one of the guys, one of the blokes. It was really good. So
a great opportunity again to get to understand the culture of other nations.
Yeah, exactly. We understood what they go through in their training, and even not just Florian Fuchs. We went to talk to Davey Hart, just got nominated FIH Goalie of the Year. But what he does, like, it was really good. That's the best thing about going over to the Hockey Indian League, is finding out different national teams, what they do, how they approach things. You know, it's really good.
So you're back in Australia now. What was the first thing you went for, your crave food?
Pepper steak. Pepper sauce on steak. I think I've had it 3 nights in a row now, and I think I've got to eat it another 3 nights.
So normally the Kookaburras would be part of the club scene in Perth. Olympic year, you don't play club hockey. what do you do as far as games?
Yeah, so we'll just play within the squad, so it's like an in-the-squad match. So there's 27 of us in the squad, so we'll just split that up and maybe get a couple of development players or whoever would like to play, and we'll play as Saturdays. But the thing is, we won't play at the one centre. We'll make it more like a club sort of feel. We'll change different turfs, and we'll travel around, so it's not exactly the same centre day in, day out. Thank you, Smiley, for letting me be the person of the week.